Hey everybody! Happy MomoCon! Happy Sunday! Woo! I thought 1 o'clock would be the earliest panel, so apparently some of you were awake before this. So I'm impressed. I'm also impressed aren't people sleeping on the back chairs this time around. But thank you very much. This is officially Game Dev and Esports in Georgia. We actually call it Game Dev and Esports Opportunities in Georgia. It's kind of long for the program. So, yes, there are some slides. We're going to go through these quickly, as I mentioned before. They're mainly here so you can take pictures and research them later. The main focus of this panel is the panelists and your questions. So if you have questions, we're going to be taking them as well as your promotions, what you're doing in Georgia for esports, game dev, streaming, etc., any related area, because we always find folks at these events we didn't know existed. And we love to have people like Butters come up and tell us exactly what they're doing and why everyone should tune into it. But I'm Andrew Greenberg, so I've been doing game development for 1 or 2 days so far. I am also the executive director of the Georgia Game Developers Association, ggda.org. We've been active, since 2005. So we support everyone who does game dev in Georgia. We have about 600 members around the state, and as you can see, there are more than 160 studios in the state working in game development now. There are a few big studios, high-res studios, Tripwire Interactive, Blue Mammoth Games, Cartoon Network, and Adult Swim are still active. Ghost Gaming in many different arenas. So we'll talk about all that. But first I want the rest of the, and of course the most important thing, Wishlist Emperor the Fading Suns on Steam now. Yes. You all get a chance to plug. So I do want to go ahead and introduce the panel, because what we've done is try to get a very broad view of what's involved here. So there's someone here who can definitely answer your question. So we'll start on the far right.
Just right? Okay, fine. How y'all doing? My name is Davin Jackson. I run Alpha Cybersecurity and Alpha Esports Technology, and in true hacker fashion, I'm in a game development and esports conversation. So nice to meet everybody.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear us? Can you guys hear us?
Yeah. Make sure you turn it up a little more, though.
Yeah.
Guys.
I'm Tygarlily. I've been a creator in the Atlanta space since 2019. Thanks to amazing people that are in this community, I have had many opportunities to build myself up. Now I'm a creator manager. I manage a creator team for a company called Ants Online, one of America's leading online retailers of technology and gaming, and we broadcast Monday through Sunday. And that's just what I do.
Hello everybody, my name is Forrest Raynard. I work at High-Res Studio as a game designer. I focus on character design and I also focus on level design right now.
Ultimate MomoCon powerlifting champ.
Okay. All right, hold on. Hold on now. Let's not get into that.
Yeah, claim it.
Right door.
Claim it on it. My name is Jeanna Dawson. I own Emerging Esports League. It's a youth development program creating a positive gaming experience for kids. We're a virtual program. It's totally online, totally free, and available nationwide now. Started here in Atlanta, and now we're a national program.
Hi, my name is Bob Carter, and I'm a voice actor, owner of the Neighborhood Studio, where we help aspiring creatives become working creatives, and now the operations director of Shao Kahn.
Yeah.
So look it up, SHAO.
Here's the voice of Shao Kahn!
James, you don't suck.
You can tell he's been using that voice here at this con all weekend.
Yes.
On the deal. All right, so I am going to go through the PowerPoint just to show some stuff off, and then we're going to talk. As you see, we have a very broad array of expertise, because what's great about Georgia specifically is it really supports the full ecosystem of game dev, creators, esports, education, and more. We're going to talk about some of these opportunities as we go through it. Really quick blast on some numbers. We all know that gaming is huge, $100 billion a year industry, just in the US, almost $300 billion worldwide, so there are opportunities to make, but this is not including the esports side, this is just the game dev side. And in Georgia, again, we have about 160 game studios, and we have them all listed actually on the ggda.org website. So you want to see all of them. I'm just going to give you a snapshot of some of the better known ones on the next page. And yeah, there's a direct economic contribution to Georgia in the game industry, about $600 million, and a full economic impact on the state of almost $1 billion. It'll probably be $1 billion in our next study. We do these studies annually. So yeah, and again, this is just the game dev side, nothing about the esports, not talking about the streaming side. And quick secret for you, there are ways to have live streaming covered by the film tax credit here in Georgia. So that film tax credit that has brought so much incredible business to Georgia, if you're spending $500,000 or more, can also apply to include your live streaming. Live streaming is, we've gotten that actually included in it. So look at the streaming side. All right, I told you we'd have a snapshot of game devs. So again, we've got some of the bigger ones, Hi-Res, Tripwire, Cartoon Network, Pulseworks doing great VR stuff, Ubisoft Blue Mammoth, my own Holistic Design, which is the oldest game dev continuous video game studio in Georgia. But a lot of good ones, all of these with good titles out there. We've got several companies now doing publishing. Tripwire Interactive is publishing other people's games, V Publishing is doing other people's games. Hoff Studios publishes other people's games. So if you're making them and don't want to publish them, you also have those opportunities now. That was one of the things that took us the longest to develop here in Georgia. Now we have it. A lot of folks are interested in the AR, XR, VR side of things. Some of these crossovers, Tripwire Interactive's VR, I think has been some of the best that's been out there so far. But companies like Trick 3D, Motion Reality, Megit Training, they do the stuff for training, but it can so easily cross over into games. They're basically using the same technology. Super Sane is here downstairs. XR Dojo is here downstairs. Check out their very cool stuff. Fanaticus XR is downstairs. An XR company is here with a board game. That's just the weirdest thing. But anyway, they do really good VR games about potatoes. Yes, really good VR games about potatoes. People always ask me, how do you get in? I always say, make the game. Get in by doing it. And the tools are so easy now. I mean, that Roblox stuff really counts. UEFN really counts. If you're doing any of those, let us know. We'd love to have you included. Or I'll sit on this. I see some people take pictures, so I'll sit on this slide for a few minutes. We love our mod designers. That's what Tripwire came out of. Very successful studio that started with more modders.
Yeah.
For my After the Fading Sun stuff, we always have modders doing great stuff. I put in here knowledgeable fan as a way to get in there. That's been a great way to folks get into the industry because they're active in the community. Not only they're knowledgeable, but they show themselves they benefit to the community. They're supporting other people, they're proving they're not hard to get along with, they're people you can deal with, they're folks you want in the community, and you bring them in as community managers.
Yeah, to extrapolate on that, there's been times where I'll look at a fan site and be like, oh yeah, that's actually our post fire, or that's how much damage our fireball does, because instead of going into my database, I'm like, oh yeah, there it is. Somebody just got really passionate, made a wiki, and I'm like, yeah, those are actually numbers, nice. So yeah, I can speak to that one directly.
Those folks do get hired. Building portfolio, not going to go into it, that's its own panel. Networking conventions, I will always recommend that. Come out here, meet the folks in the Indy cluster area, booth 100, say, hey, they all need testers, they all need your help. And of course, make your own company, which a number of the folks here have done. All right, esports in Georgia. The Georgia Esports League is active here this weekend. That's what GEL stands for. Go downstairs, check them out. If you're in the college scene, interested in the college scene, they're expanding beyond the college scene. As most of you know, esports is a varsity recognized sport now in the high schools of Georgia. The championships are at the University of West Georgia every semester. They do 2 a year. And this is what I talk about, the whole ecosystem being in place. So people like Davin set up esports competitions for people K through 12, well, before high school, to be honest. Then in high school, you've got the GHSA and other groups doing high school events. Colleges, GSU has a great team, KSU has a good team. We've got good clubs at UGA and Georgia Tech. Georgia Southern has a very successful active team. There we go. The other GSU folks, the real GSU folks.
No.
See my eyes here, SCAD has. SCAD has an esports team. Just the number of teams, really, there are about at least 20 in the state that have clubs or active teams that are competing. The Peach Belt Conference has a very good tournament every year. So that's the college level. We've got a lot of what I would call the semi-pros. People who play and make a little bit of money doing it on their own or on teams. And we have those streamers who do great work supporting them. And then we got the pros. We got Ghost Gaming. Yeah, we got Rain, we got FaZe, we got Talon. outside of like California and New York, there are very few states that have 4 honest pro teams. I mean, competing at the highest level. I should have said on the colleges, by the way, we do have national champions. See, one of the GSUs is the national champion. We'll get Georgia Southern be a national champion sometime as well. But yeah, 4 pro teams. We've got it all the way through. And then we got the events like DreamHack, which will be here in October. This little thing called MomoCon I've heard reference to here this weekend. If you ever hear about it, let me know what it's all about. Oh shoot, that's still, yeah, 404 Esports is still active. That's our fighting games hub in Doraville. If you like fighting games, check out 404 Esports. And this thing called Shao Kahn we'll talk about a little bit more later on. And there's a lot more. So these are, again, I'm doing snapshots of the big ones so y'all can see the main ones. And here's some of the main events that we have coming up, primarily around the Atlanta area this year. I should have had the GHSA didn't have the high school schedule up for the fall tournament yet, so I don't have that on here. GGA, we do monthly meetings. Usually they're in person. The next one will be online on building your game's online profile. Dragon Con has had a great video game track for a while. I leave the stuff that actually has a professional connotation to it. So the Dragon Con panels on video games, they've got a lot of good ones on how to make games from a lot of really good pros. And then you go to other tracks like EFF and learn about the whole business side, the trademarks and the IPs and so forth that are critical to this as well.
The whole connecting and networking, this is where you need to show up. Show up, show your face, find out who's running these things, introduce yourself, tell them what your passion is. This is how I did it. I met Andrew at Pantherland.
Yeah.
They'll bring it back, I hope.
I met Andrew at Pantherland when he was running a youth esports league, and I was like, that's what I want to do.
I think the crowd wants to know, what is Pantherland? What is that?
Oh, sorry. So Pantherland, L-A-N.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Georgia State University's first like esports
Oh, okay.
Yes.
competition place. Yeah, so I started showing up to all the things and introducing myself and telling people what I liked and what I wanted to do with esports and youth, and they helped me, mentored me, and lift me up and included me in things, and now here I am on a panel running a national esports organization. So it can happen.
Similar to Jeanna, I met Andrew because he was running my son's league originally, and I approached him, was this 2019, about the idea of talking about, so I work in cybersecurity, but we were talking about explaining the transferable skills and the parallels between gaming, tech, and cybersecurity as well. And I actually gave a cybersecurity talk where I explained the whole hacking process using Fortnite as an example. And the pictures were from the Fortnite practice, and Andrew approached me, he loved the idea, and we talked about it, and then I think COVID
killed everything. That used to work, sorry.
Yeah.
COVID interfered.
Yeah. And after that, talking about the community element and what was missing so much from what we were doing, I approached Andrew again at DreamHack a couple of years ago now. And I was explaining to him, like, man, we got to bring it back. We got to do something. And in true Andrew fashion, stops for a second, leans back, and goes, why don't you do it? And there was a brief silence there, and it was like, you know what, I think he's got a point. But so that's how it started. So again, I wanted to give my flowers to Andrew as well, because again, he introduced esports to me as a parent first, and then seeing it for myself, it was like, okay, no, there's an actual opportunity here for so many people. We all love gaming, right? And we just look at it as its own siloed thing. But there is a larger ecosystem at play here. So by showing that, now that opened the door for so many other people who says, hey, I want to learn more about tech, or I want to learn more about cybersecurity. Like, I got into cybersecurity, or I got into tech because of Dragon Ball Z and a Sega Saturn. We'll talk about that story another time.
All right. Very cool.
By the way, before you change slides, not on this calendar are 48-hour game jams. There are a lot of game jams that are available. Again, if success is 90% showing up.
What's a game jam?
Excellent question. Game jams are opportunities for people to get together, whether you have experience or don't, and get together and make a game in 48 hours or less. So again, it's an excellent opportunity to learn exactly what you need to know to make video games. an opportunity to collaborate with others, actively collaborate with others, and make video games and play. That's the point, right? So whether it's in person, whether it's virtual, check out your local game jams, your regional game jams. It absolutely will help accelerate everything you want to do.
All right, last few, I'll move to the last few, because I want to get to panelists, those exact conversations, and then we'll get to your questions as well. So we just announced here at MomoCon, September 14th, we'll be having an indie game festival in Doraville, at Doraville Digital Studio. So if you have an indie game, we do actually have the application live on our website. It's kind of hidden now because we just announced this Friday, but next week it'll be more obvious. So if you have a game or know folks with games they want to get in front of people, have them apply. October 2nd, the first week in October, you're going to see all of this kind of stuff. That is InnovaTL month, October, and just some great stuff coming together. We've got the October 2nd ESports Summit Live, October 3rd Skillshot Creator Summit. I'm not going to talk anymore about those because someone might come up to the mic at some point and talk about them. Siege at DreamHack. How many of you have heard of DreamHack? All right, good enough. And Siege is our Southern Interactive Entertainment Game Expo, so we'll have local game devs, we'll have panels on game dev, and more at DreamHack as well. And I really should have taken that survey at the beginning of this panel. How many of you are interested in the game industry? All right. How many of you are interested in esports? Excellent. How many of you are interested in content creation and live streaming? I should say podcast. Let's separate them. Live streaming, podcasts, what am I leaving out? Teaching this stuff. Yeah,
Yes.
good. Kids love seeing that. All right. Good sense of it. Good sense of it. All right. October 17th and 20th, something called ShowCon.
Yes.
We'll talk about in a second. In November, I don't have the specific dates yet. They have not been announced, but the Brawl Hollow World Championship with the Tygarlily. Lots of money given out there. All right. So I'm going to leave it on this slide so folks know how to contact me and for me, all of you all. And what I would like our panelists to do is to talk to folks about great ways to get into this kind of creative industries. And again, obviously, please promote what you do as well. Let's start with Bob.
All right, fair enough. 2 weeks ago now, there was the indie game showcase that happened in Doraville. And actually, I want you guys to go check out the indie cluster down in the exhibitors area, right around
100.
Right at
Booth 100.
100. Make sure you go down there, play the video games, check them out, talk to the creators of the video games, interact with those creators of video games, because they're, again, fun, cool, geeky gamers, right? So interact with them, get to know them. They can help you as well, and they can also have real conversations with you about what it's like to begin to develop your games. Yeah, because we want young people to get more involved with this sort of thing. And we want to make sure that it's accessible to more young people in and all over Georgia. That is what ShowCon is about. It's going to be an esports regional tournament featuring all 8 officially sanctioned GHSA games, an iRacing special event the same weekend as Petit Le Mans from Road Atlanta, so it's actually going to be that track. There's going to be a college and job fair, of which we've got over 100 people already signed up. So we're bringing colleges there to scout gamers and teams and competitors. Also for you to talk to colleges about where you're going to go to school. Also jobs, career fair, right? People are interested in those who can code, those who can hack, those who can create. So we're going to have real careers being offered to people. And then we're also going to have a creative expo. Creatives and creators coming together and having real conversation about streaming, YouTubing, the monetization thereof, and actually making money from these things that you're doing. Creatives, changes in the industry, how to use AI constructively and not just destructively. So that's real talk about creative industries as well. So that's ShowCon, and please check it out, SHAOCON.com. And the best thing about it, it's got an amazing soundtrack. I'm very excited to hear about the soundtrack, because that's going to lead to some scholarships. You know how people love to make AMVs? Those who are making those AMVs in the ShowCon soundtrack will be in competition for scholarships. That, again, it's a win-win-win for everybody. And the cool thing is I'm going to every county's Chamber of Commerce to have them pay for the registrations for the high schools. Because when you say esports is big in Georgia, as big as football, for those outside the Atlanta bubble, most of them don't believe it. When you say it's as big as football, that gets gets eyeballs, that gets their attention. And then when they actually go look and they learn and they realize that it is, hey, that's a big deal. So now it's a tax write-off for the business members and the changes of commerce. It's building community awareness and support, like a booster club. They understand booster clubs in football, right? So it's a booster club for that esports team, and it's actually going to free the kids up to be able to focus on gaming and do what they do best. And then it's all about getting those young eyeballs and those families to the event to see the glamour of what's actually available, to see this, so that way it's all about sparking curiosity. It's all about inspiring and doing everything we can to motivate young people to, again, pursue these careers. Gaming leads to coding and high-tech skills. High-tech skills and coding lead to high-paying careers. That is what ShellCon is about. Thank you.
What a great segue. Getting people connected is really what I do. So teaching the parents about what it is. These kids just want to sit around and play video games. It's a lot more than that. There's a breadth of ecosystem and industry that these kids can know about. Health and wellness, collegiate scholarship opportunities, career pathways. It's not just about sitting in your room all day playing video games. There's so much more to it. And that is what Emergent Esports is all about, is creating that awareness, accessibility, and having a safe, positive gaming environment for these kids to grow up in so that they can have a really good experience with their gaming. Getting connected, the original question was how to get to connected and how to start. So I took my son to Pantherland because he was interested in video games and I wanted to see an esports thing happening. And we've been coming to DreamHack and checking things out, and I briefly met Andrew and saw the kids running around in their little jerseys, and I was like, oh my God, this is so cute, I love it. So I started showing up to like GGDA events, and I'm not a game developer, I wanted to get into esports, but I started meeting kind of the right people, and they were like, well, what do you want to do? And when I told them what my vision was, they were like, that's amazing, let's lift her up. So talk to people, connect with people, have a passion. And I'll tell you this, there's a lot of money in the industry, but if you're in this for the money, you might not be successful. You have to have the passion for it. I don't make a lot of money doing what I do, but I have a severe passion for it. I can sit and talk about youth esports all day long. I have a day job, I have a family, but I love to do this, and I travel and talk to people because I want to raise awareness about what it is we do and that it does exist out there for your kids too.
Yeah, I love the conversation on passion. One thing that really amazed me about Bob's presentation, he is a world-famous voice actor. He didn't mention that at all. So his passion, you see where it is right now. So, and Jeanna's absolutely right. But it's that passion that has to feed you for the long slog.
Long game. You gotta be in it for the long game.
There's a very famous quote that says, follow your bliss. But the more important part of that that's not said often enough is to follow your bliss, you need to follow your blisters. Because it's the stuff that's going to keep you working and you don't want to be working.
I feel that one. Right.
Yep. Your bliss is the stuff that you will keep working no matter what. Will keep you going. This is great for Bob and VO because you hear his voice right now. He's been on that show floor and he's still pitching. And this is especially true on the game dev side. I know Forrest has a lot to say on the game dev side as well. But I will say that having that passion get you going, and then the willingness to keep going, remembering that passion as you push forward. And then it all ties back in again to communication, because one of the big secret skills for all of the things we're talking about is your ability to communicate. Esports, you've been on headset, you know how key it is to communicate effectively with other people in-game. On a game dev team, and almost all of those studios I've shown you are studios, not one person. That ability to communicate, to share ideas.
Communicate effectively though, no skibbity riz.
Have that off-topic channel in Discord.
Yes, speak professionally in your email so that people understand what it is you're saying. Get your point across, keep it short and effective, and you can reach out to these amazing people and get feedback if it's not just a random question like, I need a job. Yeah, same. So, speak professionally about your passion, what it is you want to do, and don't always be out there looking for the next thing. I have this great thing, how can we work together? I'd love to talk to you more, kind of thing. Just get into those conversations and see what comes out of it.
Absolutely. Communication is so key. If you're a tester, play tester. We talk about you've got to be able to diligently play, you've got to test in specific ways. But really, the number one skill is to communicate what you discovered to the people who are going to fix it. You really communicate to the programmers, artists, etc. It's more important than any other aspect of being a tester. Tester is one of the best ways into the game industry. So, passion and communication, they go together beautifully. And speaking of passion and communication, I'm the master of both.
Yeah, you absolutely stole it from me when you said communication. That was going to be my point. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that. Going to go a different direction. Who wants to be a game dev? Is anybody in here? Okay, yeah, nice. Who wants to be a designer if there would be a game dev? Okay. I'm going to pick on you just for a second. What's your favorite game? Oh boy, yeah, don't worry. You're fine. Sure. Okay. That's a really good one. That wasn't part of my box full of things to use as examples. That's a good one. What's your favorite shooter? Okay, all right. I can work with that. That's good. I can actually work with that one. So, I love game design. I love video games. I've been doing it for about 10 years. I started off as a community manager for a small little game called Gigantic back in the day, which is weird because it came back out by recently. And that's a fun little story. But I ask you that because oftentimes you see it on the internet, or people being angry, but you suck. You suck at making games. What are you doing? Fireball is super overpowered, right? You mentioned a little bit about communication, and that was one thing I had to learn, right? It was like how to communicate, whether it was with a game developer or with a community. So for people wanting to get into game design and game dev in particular, my first advice would be to learn how to communicate. And I know, again, you stole my thing, but an example would be post-fire versus pre-fire, right? When you have a revolver in a game like Destiny, right, there's going to be a moment there where you pull the trigger, and when is that gun going to fire? When you actually pull the trigger, that's what's called a pre-fire. And a post-fire is when you can shoot that gun again. And that ability to come up with these terminologies to be able to use to describe game design and game dev is going to be so instrumental. Another example is game designers will often work with different whether it's artists or programmers, and I don't know the first thing about programming, and I don't know the first thing about art, but because I've seen so many YouTube videos discussing like, hey, this is what a material is, this is what a X is, and been able just to be what's described as dangerous, and be like, hey, artist, I need a vector image, I need this. So again, going back to communication is, yes, very much learn how to communicate with your fellow developers if you want to just even get your foot into the door as far as what it takes to become a game dev. Lastly, so much of what you want to know or do or learn is going to be on YouTube. I'm not going to lie to you, I spend so much of my time on YouTube looking up. It is somebody's job to go out and just make YouTube videos for game design, and it's just the best thing ever. It's, whether it's Unreal, Unity, Godot, it's amazing. And this kind of like tools weren't available. Actually, Smite and Paladins as an example was made on Unreal Engine 3. And if you look at tutorials for those engines, it's actually made in 8-minute segments because YouTube back then wouldn't let you upload. Yeah, some of you old people remember watching anime in 8-minute clips. Yeah, that's how I had to learn Unreal 3. But now Unreal pays people just to come up with like tutorials and just make a little watch later segment and just bam, bam, bam every time you come up to a video. And then a YouTube algorithm will pick it up and they'll just start sending you videos after videos after videos, and you gotta get hungry. And I know everybody here has been really like, yeah, and that's it. You gotta have the passion, you gotta have the love for it. I'm inspired every day when I see younger people and who just make things, and I'm like, son of a gun, the music they're gonna get my job. So you gotta get hungry, and it's gonna be so hard if you want to be a game dev, but it's great. You get to be paid to something that very few people get to do, and I get to wake up every morning and I love it. I get to work with great people. So learn how to communicate. I'm going to steal your guys' thing. However, you use YouTube. I know that sounds simple and stupid, but there's so many great channels out there. If you want examples, feel free to hit me up afterwards. I can give you 20. And then the last one, I would say, if you want to be in game dev, it's hard because there's two different directions you can go to where I've seen people go, either being an expert in their respective field. I've seen people who are blueprint experts. That's a scripting programming language for Unreal. I've seen people be able to use blueprints, and I'm just like, you're a god. You're walking around and doing anything with blueprints. And then I've seen people who are really good at doing a lot of different random things. If you say, hey, I need to have this blimp fly through the air. Like, oh, that's easy, just do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, okay, that's really random, I'm glad you knew how to do that. So I've seen both successes. So don't be afraid if you find yourself falling in love with a very specific aspect of game design, whether it's UI, whether it's anything. Have it down, because there are certain things only experts can do. On the other hand, I can speak to this where it's like I can do a little bit of A, B, Z, and all the way down to Z. And so don't get frustrated when you're like, oh, I don't know how to do this thing. That's okay. You may know how to do another thing. So take little steps. You'll get there.
When you talk about YouTube channels, Georgia Game Devs, more than 600 videos on all aspects of game development, esports, and much, much more. So make sure you check youtube.com/GeorgiaGameDevs. Tygarlily.
Opportunities, that's why I'm here. So my superpower is I keep my ear to the ground. I love creating, and being a creator is my passion, and I love video games and showing them off, but if you want to make a successful business off of it, you have to be in the right place at the right time. So right now, I'm trying to think of things that are helpful. And this is specifically for the women in gaming. Any ladies that like to do creative or they want to get into esports, there's two things you need to hear. The gamers and the broadcasters. So there's an amazing opportunity right now, thanks to Ghost Gaming and Todd Harris, who's sitting right there.
Yes.
They're offering sponsorships to women in gaming, game design, creators, esports. So that's just something to be aware of. And then the gamers. I'm an ambassador, and I love this community because you might not know what it is you want to do yet. Maybe you're just here because you're like, yeah, I love video games, and so was I, 2018. And then I went down the creative stream, I went down the manager part. So now I'm a manager. I love finding people that love doing the same things I do and helping them find their opportunities. So I know my little conversation is quick and easy, but I feel like that's the most important thing I wanted to share with you today.
And make sure you subscribe to twitch.tv/Tygarlily, Tygarlily.
Thank you.
Since you've not going to call yourself one of the best streamers in the South.
Yes.
What they said. Can I be real with y'all for a second?
Yes.
Okay, I want y'all to do me a favor. Look around this room.
Look at people's eyeballs, look people in
Just
the
look
face,
around,
make it
just look around this
awkward.
room, right? Trust me, I'm not gonna tell you to say hi, shake a neighbor's hand. We're not going to church this yet.
Do it.
I know it is Sunday, but this is your tribe.
These are
Okay?
your people.
One of the things that really drove me to bring an in-person model for Alpha Esports and Technology was the tribe. Okay? My son, my inspiration, he's right there, and I'm not going to get emotional. But when we first moved down here, we struggled to make friends and everything, and we were lucky enough to come across Andrew, and my son found his tribe. COVID, whatever. And in talking to some of the parents, we talked about how some of the kids were truly devastated. We talk about how it affected us, but we don't stop to think about how it affected the young ones around us. And that was the deciding factor for me. Finding that tribe. Everybody here raised their hand for different things. They wanted to be a game developer, everybody raised their hand. They want to be in tech, everybody raised their hand. They want to be a gamer, content creator, everybody raised their hand. Those are your tribes. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. Don't be afraid to reach out and embrace someone who may be someone who looks different from you or out of your comfort zone. Okay? Parents, embrace the fact that your kids are into gaming. Okay? I came from an old Caribbean background, and I'm not going to use the words that I used to be told, but you know, video games were, oh, it's going to rot your brain. It's no good for you. It's not, right? Like I said, that my interest was because I wanted to learn how to play a Japanese Dragon Ball Z game on an American Sega system.
Yeah.
Okay? This is 5 years ago because I'm only 20 years old. But no, seriously, but that took me down a path that brought me back into tech after I walked away from it because I didn't think it was enough for me. I didn't have my tribe. I was lost trying to pretend to be something I was not. I went into the military. Yes, I served my country and I would do it again in a heartbeat, but that was not who I was. I was an aircraft mechanic and I came home and could not find a job and I was not happy. And finally, I was blessed to find my queen, my wife, who basically put her foot in my behind and was like, what is it that you want to do? And I was like, I've always liked to figure out how things work. It brought me back to a 5-year-old little boy sitting in my grandmother's house trying to wire things together. Probably wasn't safe now that I think about it. But that was where my earliest memories came from, just being just in pure bliss of just using my brain how I wanted it to work. Started going down the path, doing my certification route. 20 years later, I am now speaking in front of you. In 2 weeks, I am speaking at a government conference on how esports and effective communications in esports can help build a cybersecurity team. Don't be afraid to be your authentic self. It will get you up there a lot faster than pretending to be something that you're not. Parents, meet them halfway. Right?
Oh, you give me chills.
Yeah.
Meet them halfway, right?
Parents, if you haven't heard this yet, or any of you in this room, this industry is one of the most diverse and inclusive industries that you will ever find. And if you are finding people that are telling you you can't do it, they're the ones that are not going to succeed.
I'm not going to cuss. But
they're the ones that are not going to make it.
Yeah.
You're going to make it. You find your tribe, your group of people that are willing to accept you and lift you up, and you do the same for them, and those are the groups of people that you're going to see be successful, like this small group here.
Like I said, parents, meet your kids halfway, incentivize it, right? If you were willing to let your child go out and throw a football or a baseball or a basketball for 3-4 hours, why not let them embrace what they're good at if they want to play games, if you can teach them how to do it the right way? We know of the toxicity that's out there online, but that's why we have programs like Alpha Esports Technology, like what Jeanna's doing with Emergent, because we're teaching them how to do it the right way. Everybody talks about communication skills. Kids, or young folk, this question's for y'all. If I walked up to you and said, let's work on your effective communication skills, y'all probably would have some choice words for me that probably wouldn't be effective.
Skibbity
right?
toilet.
Okay. But if I asked you to explain to me your thought pattern in a Fortnite match, you might get up here and give a PowerPoint presentation on it,
Yes.
right? That's
And
what
guess what? You're communicating.
That's what I talk about. That's what I mean when I say meet them halfway. Because now it's easier to talk to them and teach them, effective communication, written and verbal. And regardless of what industry you're in, I don't care if you want to be in tech, cybersecurity, game development, game design, content creation, you have to have those skills. They talk about soft skills, but they're actually called essential skills. I call them essential skills. So across the board, you need that. Right? So again, meet them halfway, figure out what works. I mean, they have people who are teaching physics through Rocket League.
Gamification.
Right? Okay, there's programs here that are teaching what I do, and you go on. Just another thing, when you make your watch later YouTube list, actually watch them later. Don't be like me. but now you have people who are teaching these skills in whether it's VR, right? People are learning HVAC and electrical trades in a video game with a headset. People are teaching what I do in cybersecurity and ethical hacking through a video game, through a role-playing video game. Now they walk out of here, not only they walk out with the game that they feel satisfied that they completed, but now they have opportunities where now they actually show the skill set that they have, and it updates their LinkedIn profile. So there's opportunities there. You just have to kind of open your eyes, and like I said, parents, I'm just going to speak harshly. Get out of the old way of thinking. Seriously.
Let the old guard down.
And to your point about, I think Bob or Andrew talked about it, where they were saying, how big the industry is. I won't name the school, but I remember showing up to an esports event, and there was a football game going on simultaneously. There were more people inside watching the esports event than there were watching the football game, and that's what brought it home for my own mother. Like, I walked up to her and I looked at her and said, for all them years you told me video games was fun. Right? So just meet them halfway, embrace who you are, find your tribe, and do the work. The one thing that we're not saying here is that it's easy. This is not easy. Okay, everybody was talking about their famous sayings. I go by the immortal words of Mike Tyson. Everybody has a plan until they're punched in the mouth. What are you going to do to pick yourself back up? There's going to be a lot of pivoting. There's There's going to be a lot of dark days and there's going to be a lot of hard times, but remember your why.
Be okay with hearing no a lot.
And sorry for hijacking the time.
No, we still got enough time.
That's why you're here.
We specifically saved half of this session for your questions and your promotions, because we also want to know what you're doing. Because I know there's stuff out there we haven't heard about. So, we have the mic up here. Start lining up. We want to get those questions. We want to get those promotions. Anybody here at all?
All right.
Ask us anything.
Alright, let me turn on my Google Doc so I can write down a bunch of URLs I hadn't heard of before. Start away!
Is this working? Okay. My name is Brad Lance.
Hey, Brad.
And I would like to know how to get on a panel like this.
Ah.
I've done
Me
game
too.
development for 12 years. I've worked with publishers. I recently entered a game jam with 8,000 games, and I got 50th place. And we're
Congratulations.
about to get a grant. It's called Are You With Us? It's a horror game where you are the ghost being contacted by the living, and you respond with the Ouija board.
Here's my suggestion. The next time there's a con, go onto their website and submit a panel idea and create your own panel and make it happen.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Are you
That's the most
local?
effective thing you can do. And are
I'm
you
from
local?
Yes, are you here?
Greenville, South Carolina.
There's cons there. Yeah.
There is a con up there, actually. They're always contacting me for speakers. So, I'll...
You create a
talk to me
panel and you make
afterwards.
it happen.
There is a con in Greenville that reaches out to me every year because they're desperate for game dev folks to come talk.
I feel like just knowing you was a key.
I was going to say three.
No Andrew Greenberg.
Yeah, I was going to say 3 words. Connect with Andrew.
I haven't asked about Andrew when somebody hasn't known him. Like, oh no, I know Andrew.
Too much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck.
And look up your SCGDA, your South Carolina Game Developers Association Network.
Hi, my name is Jeanna. I'm going to try and keep this brief. All my socials are DIANNE_art. I focus primarily on FPS and storytelling games. Just some context for my question. I'm a content creator and I'm becoming knowledgeable within that FPS's esports realm. And later in life, I do want to teach and I want to incorporate esports, like either as teaching it solely or having it as an ancillary thing on teaching at whatever school. Given all of that, as a young adult, college graduate, and I didn't have a chance to do esports in high school or college, what do you suggest getting a foot in the door into the esports realm?
Davin or me?
Yeah,
I look at Tygarlily.
There is, right now, the communities I'm really aware of that'll be able to help you right away is the Gamers. And then I would definitely get Todd Harris's contact information right
He
there.
loves you.
I'm just going to throw you out there.
Yeah.
He should be the one up here, honestly.
Yes.
But I would definitely connect with him because the best thing is, like, I'm self-taught myself. I didn't go to school for anything. I actually went to IT. And that skill helped me become a broadcaster because I could run my own production, right? So your skills you can use if you wanted to move forward. But if you want to come up real fast and give me your contact information, I can forward you to the next best person.
I also want to name drop something that we all are very aware of is NASEF, NASEF. They have amazing resources, also Skillshot Media, on Esports 101. Anybody in this room could walk into a school, an elementary school, a middle school, or a high school, and start an esports league. Any one of you could do it.
And stay in the room until the Women in Animation Club at KSU is spoken, because you'll also want to connect with them.
Definitely. Also, since you said you were going to go into teaching, from an elementary school standpoint, I've got a nonprofit called Volunteeros. One of the most effective things that I've ever done is called Reading Up. Choose your own adventure books. What you're doing is you're teaching consequences of actions, number one, for young people so that they make better decision-making skills. But more importantly, from a gamer standpoint, what you're teaching is flow charts. And gaming is all about flow charts and choices. So you're actually gamifying, you're teaching them gamification from a very young age in terms of those flow charts. So choose your own adventure books are always good too, in terms of encouraging young people.
Thank you.
Great cosplay, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that cosplay. Yeah, let me grab a picture if you want to, whichever.
Go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
I'm Xander, and I'm looking into being a beta tester. So I once saw a video on YouTube on how to be a tester. It was like this one guy who works with Ubisoft, and he said that there was like no academic prerequisite to be a tester, but I don't know if that's true or not. And then I even started writing essays on my favorite video games, telling them what I liked and disliked about
I
it,
love that.
which is the Warrior series, like Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors, Warriors, Roaches, so...
Okay.
Love Dynasty Warriors. Yes,
So when, in terms of like writing the essays, would it also count to be a game tester or something?
Absolutely, that would help you.
Well, the thing is though, if I'm going to fix a bug, I don't want to read an essay. I want to know immediately how to reproduce that bug as quickly as I possibly can. The best way to learn to test is to, so we've got Indie Cluster over here, for some reason didn't stand up to introduce themselves, and they provide play testing for indie game developers. So it's great to have that on your resume. You've already done testing when the jobs show up. Testing is the best way to get into game dev, and then you learn every aspect of game dev by going through the test route. But for testing, it is, I love to say, who wants to play games all day? Yay! But it is the most painful way to play games all day is to play test them. Because you're trying to break them, you're doing the stupidest things, you're walking to every wall to make sure collision detection works, and you have to communicate how to create. Those essays are great, and that's community management, that's game press. I love our game press people. Game Skinny here in town is wonderful. But for actually play testing, it's a very specific set of skills. So get with the Indie Cluster folks. And are you local as well?
Yes, I live in Midtown Atlanta.
Perfect. Yeah, get with the Indie Cluster folks, because they're constantly arranging play tests for the indie devs. And nothing will teach you to do it better than actually doing it.
Go talk to this guy in the hat, right?
I was gonna say to your point about
Thank you for your question.
and I was gonna say with your essay stuff, I mean, if you can incorporate, you can do double, right? You can write your proof of concept in those, in your reports for your QA or your play testing. But I think if you actually put that out there and, you know, you talked about your love for games, if you can incorporate, find a way to make that entertaining or engaging in that as well, not only will that also give you more exposure for other opportunities, but who knows, you may even develop your own platform for that as well, because that's how I kind of got started with what I do. I talk about my love for something and then what I did and how I did it, and then you just find a way to kind of bring that all together, and like I said, it'll open up a realm of opportunities for you, so please keep going.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to make one quick point here. When I do NDA playtests, and I'll have about 20 people in a room on Discord, oftentimes it's some of the loudest, most egotistical people that kind of rise to the top of those playtests, unfortunately. And I would hate to have somebody like you who's done the effort of working together an essay kind of be steamrolled. So for you, I would say the best thing you could possibly do is take that essay, obviously in your free time, throw it to an email and all that, but break it down to its most essential points, and that way the 4 sentences that you do get to say when we're doing a playtest are the most important ones out of that essay. That way, if I'm playtesting with you, be like, this person's got it. This person, I need to like take aside, be like, okay, you got my attention, and then let's talk a little bit about what you want to talk about. So unfortunately, just when I have a big playtest, we'll have 20 to 30 people in the room. Oftentimes that gets away from me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thanks. And if I was to do that, I would just go on to your Facebook, right?
I can meet with you after this after the Q&A.
All right, thank you.
Of course.
And for those of you in line,
Sir, don't walk back that way, walk that way.
Yeah, go talk to the
That's
guy in the hat.
right there in the gray t-shirt.
and for those of you in line, we'll keep going until the room folks kick us out. So
Yes.
they'll let us know when we're done.
Hi, I'm Kenzie.
Hey, Kenzie.
Oh, nervous. It's
All
okay.
good.
You got this.
Thank you. So I studied game development since I was a kid. I got really passionate about low-level programming, specifically in engine programming stuff, graphics programming as well, and also
You're way smarter than me.
I also got into doing the 3D art as well, so environment art, sculpting stuff, texturing,
Nice.
etc. And I recently worked as a 3D pipeline engineer in e-commerce for about a year and stuff, but now I'm wanting to get into the games industry because I'm really passionate about it. I want to create experiences more than just
Sounds like you have all of the right things.
stuff. But the job market's been
Yep.
Not great. No, it's horrible.
Yes.
For sure.
auto reject or getting ghosted
Yeah.
non-stop.
Yeah.
So you remember the number one thing I had on my list? Make a game.
Making
And
it-
yeah, definitely make a game. There's nothing better for your portfolio. We have 10 minutes.
I do assets and like.
Yep, join the
Sell
jam
those.
team. Join the jam team. What do you work on 3D? You working on Unreal already? Yeah. All right, that's good.
Sell your mods. That's something you do right now to get money. You build whatever it is, the 3D sculpt, and then you can go on certain websites and sell those.
So, and one thing I might add, so do you feel like you've made a product that you'd be able to show somebody?
No.
No, what is holding you back?
So I like to work on a lot of like small projects that are like something you know for me to learn.
Yeah.
Rather than to like just hey I have this product that I want to pitch and stuff.
People want to see that.
I want to work in a team on something.
It might do you justice to itch.io. I know they have their developer, and just get something out there. Just throw it, and it just send it. You miss. I know with Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots. But being able, if you came to me and was like, "Hey, I would love to get in the industry," I'd be like, "Show me something. I want to experience it." And even if it's
Oh, right.
Get on itch.io, build your assets while you're waiting for somebody to hire you, sell your product, okay? Sell it the things that you are building and creating.
What's it called again? H?
No, that's itch.io, where you can do
Okay,
game
you know what
jams.
I'm talking about.
And also like off of Mixamo and Blender and all those little spin-off sites off of there, load up your own assets and sell those for $2, $3. See how good it is.
I have used Unreal Assets for sure, and they're
Yes.
Are you local?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. Come out to GGA meetings, ping us online.
$2